Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very powerful special guest here for the show today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're calling from?
I am Elona Kearney, running for governor here in Washington State.
Great. And I just want to dig right in. If you don't know who Elona is, I interviewed her last Friday and we talked about her past, present, and future. But for those who don't know who Elona is, briefly in under 5 minutes, tell me about your past leading up to why you wanted to become governor of Seattle.
Yes, a little bit about my past is, I'm the oldest daughter of five. My mom's a pastor, my dad's Jewish, and we moved around a little bit growing up, and here I am here in Washington State. Uh, my background is I come from a strong line of strong women, and my grandmother and my mother are my inspiration because they are like community people and they pull through when the community needs them to help, when everybody's working 3 and 4 jobs. So, and now I'm here running for governor because I feel that, just like everyone else, we're tired of the status quo. The parties pick status quo, and we always wonder how come a regular candidate that represent us doesn't run. And pretty much that's what we're going to be talking about today.
So let's dive right into it, Ilana. Okay, first I gotta ask, why do you want this position? What makes you why are you going to how are you going to change as an African American woman the status quo, like you said, the original people that come in and kind of push us to the side as being African American women? How would you change that?
So, I'm going to, like I always tell everybody, everything is not a one size fits all thing. So, this is going to be a multifaceted answer. Number one, I have, people say start from the bottom and work your way up. I feel that when you start from the bottom, people get in and they come in with good intentions, and we're like, that person started off good, and then all of a sudden now they turn on us, and now they're taking money and doing crooked things because you start from the bottom, and now at some point you feel in order to get to the next level you really have to bend over for them and do whatever it is against the people just to keep a position. And so I'm not starting at running for a position to beg and like Shirley Chisholm said, unbossed and unbought is what I am.
Well said. And tell me, what is your struggles? What has happened that people has sabotaged you to be governor?
So, first off, with LinkedIn, I started getting a huge following in back in 2022. So I signed up back May 2022. Then around November time, LinkedIn deleted my account. So I asked them, and at first they wasn't going to tell me because I said, "Why are you deleting my account?" And they said, "Oh, just check the rules." I said, "It's a bunch of rules here." For what? And then I sent in my ID, everything to prove that it's me. And they said that it's a fake account. And I'm like, why would I create a fake account when I really need my real name and my information to run for governor? And I sent my governor papers in, and they told me to stop writing them, that I was harassing them. And so for a little bit, I was a little bit salty. So I wouldn't open up a LinkedIn account for a little while. And everyone's like, you need to get on LinkedIn. You need to get on LinkedIn. But I was so disheartened because I had so much content that I had put in there and nothing to show for it. So that was one thing. Then as time went along, I have ever since I signed up, I've asked the Democratic Party because I am running on the Democratic ticket. I've asked for the vote builder list because when you sign up on the state Secretary of State, it'll give you instructions on how to sign up, what information you need, and then there's this little thing where it says the party will provide things such as the vote builder list. And the vote builder is everybody who votes Democrat. You can have their emails, phone numbers, all that information to send out, like uh, mailers, all of those things. I asked for the vote builder list. I asked for the list that they have for a campaign manager. It also says that they also provide legal advice if you need legal advice. I don't have none of that information still to this day. And I've
What do you think?
you said what?
Why do you think that that is?
I think that's pretty much because it's going back party status quo. If the party, and that doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican, they want their person to win. So if they sabotage it or make it difficult for everyone else who might be possible candidates, then they have a better chance of the person that they're trying to push and make everyone um, go for. So it's about making sure you don't get that visibility.
Well said. And what have you been doing? I heard that you've been going to events that's affordable because let's just face it, we're both in the same boat. We can't afford to buy out a hotel room and talk and speak amongst people. So we do what we can. So tell me, my campaign is on like is stalemate right now. I'm good with that because I don't have to do anything until next year. We're going to start campaigning in December for the city council. But you, on the other hand, you have to campaign yourself, which is difficult, right?
Yes. Yes. So, like I said, not having a campaign manager, I actually have now probably three other people with me who work management
Good.
on the campaign team. But prior to this year, it was me managing everything, social media, everything. So now, I think since last week, more people have started to come on and say, okay, I'll take on this, I'll take on that. Everyone on my team is not expert, so we're doing the best that we can with what we have. But since May, when I did my announcement in May, I had like you said, I find the free locations to go to. And even with like, we went to Black Bear restaurant.
I love it. Yeah.
So, everybody's coming to eat. So just let that money go towards getting the room, their food, all of those things. So that alleviated that cost. People came out, spread the word. And the way I did the first one, I actually did it as a unity thing. I didn't blast it on, to the news. I just blasted it to people in the community because it was a sensitive subject of bringing unity because I brought Proud Boys in and the black community. So
You
I didn't want it
basically
to be,
want to see people unite.
yeah. And if I would have did it to the news, then somebody would have been like, oh, let's go over here and try to sabotage that and make one or the other look like made the black community look bad, made the Proud Boys look bad. And we actually had a great conversation. And so I've been actually, like you said, in the communities, showing up to people's events, passing out cards. People invite me to their barbecues. I've done a 39 county tour during the summer, this past summer. So I just go in and I just start talking to people.
Tell me, now we come to the big question. Tell me about the instance you told me, what you told me downstairs about the J6. You were
Okay.
there, right?
Yes.
Tell me
Yes.
about what you saw, top to bottom or vertically.
Yes.
Start.
I have a video on my page back in January. I posted it because there's always this people have a bad taste in their mouth about anybody who went there. And my campaign being removing labels is about stop stereotyping people, stop lumping everyone in the same boat. Like we'll say, oh, police are bad. Not all police are bad. Same thing with the January 6th. People didn't go there with the intentions of an insurrection. In fact, on my videos, you'll see we're like, what insurrection? Like, what is going on? I even posted on there how I think it was, I can't remember which news, but one of the big news, two of them were posting saying that they were saying, hang Mike Pence. On my video, you see that they were saying, leave us alone. And granted, I did not go inside, so I won't vouch for what happened on the inside because I didn't go in there. Just like I don't like people vouching for what happened January 6th and you weren't there just because media was playing something. I show on my video media played something false, and everything does not line up with the same timeline. If you look at, if you were watching that day, or if anybody remembers what happened that day, and you go watch the documentary, I think on their documentaries, like this whole altercation started at 9 or something, and then got worse at 12. Well, Trump didn't get up to speak until after all of that. So how is any of those things even lining up? So, and that was pretty much just my thing with the whole J6 of, oh, and then I think I have a video on there where I don't know if it's on that one or if I posted that one yet, but where the police were hurting us. I think it is on that one. Police were hurting one side to the Black Lives Matter side, and they did the same thing with the Black Lives Matter side
Tell
of
me
hurting.
about the burning of the flag.
Oh, the burning of the flag. When that was the same day when the police were hurting, and this was like a prior incident before the January 6th. Was it was someone, Antifa, as everyone liked to say. Antifa was in the MAGA crowd and snatched the American flag and set it on fire and stabbed one of the Proud Boys. So they didn't harm them. They just pushed them over to the police saying, see how hypocritical you guys are. And it was a kid who climbed up the church and grabbed down the Black Lives Matter flag, and people just started tearing it up. And I just remember the next day I was like, oh my gosh, first thing I know is going to be posted or said is that was done in a manner to of like burning the crosses for racism, but that was not really what that was. It was a tit for tat retaliation that they had going on.
How did you? So, do you think who was right in this, or who was the instigator? Were they both the instigators, or who started what first?
The incident with the flag, I would say it was the police
The
there in DC.
police
Yeah,
moving the African Americans, right?
both they were moving both sides. They lined up the street where you couldn't walk back to your hotels or anything, and they were pushing you down the street. So I would say that they were really the instigators in all of this, because
It-
had they not did that, I think that the one side would have been doing their partying on their side, ignoring what was going down on the other streets, and probably vice versa.
well said. And did the National Guard ever come out?
Um, the national so on January 6th, I believe the National Guards came out. I don't know because I left. It was starting
Understood.
to get dark. And when they were coming out throwing those, what do you call those, smoke bombs, they were throwing it in the middle of people praying, like
Wow.
praying. And so people started running saying that, oh, that they're doing facial recognition, they're going to come take your kids and whatnot. So like you start throwing fear out there, people start running all over the place, and it gets a little bit discombobulated. Although I wasn't, I just went and stood in the corner. I was like, yeah, nobody's trampling me.
One
But
last question about this. Do you think there was a cricket organization? We both don't know. You don't have to say what that part, but do you think while there was an organization instigating people to go into that White House? And when they went in, they some took pictures and they were there. They were just there floating around. But they did commit a crime, which would be breaking in. But do you think that the good people were instigated to go in there, and the bad people instigated the good people to just go with the flow of things? How do you think? Because you were there.
so when we were walking down to the Capitol, there was some people, like was two or three people running through the crowd. And that's, I don't think I have that part. I think I might have that part posted, but two or three people run through the crowd saying Pence has betrayed us. He's not doing something. And other people were saying they're lying. They're trying to start an insurrection. Everybody just ignoring them. They're trying to start an insurrection. So that was one. When I got up to the Capitol, and that's where my video picks up, is after the police officer, the Capitol Police, say, do you want to go in? You should go in. I said, oh, heck no. Black people, we don't do that. No big crowds like that. We go over here where the food is, in the bathroom. So I'm going over here where the food and the bathrooms are. So that was the next thing. And then my other thing that's kind of confusing is, so if you go to our capital and you walk in there, there's nothing saying that you cannot go into the Capitol. You can go in there, walk around. So everybody's saying that there was a break in. I'm not sure that that Capitol, because I don't think I've been in there, was, if that Capitol set up just like the rest of our capitals, you can just walk in there as a citizen. So what was really preventing anyone, if that's the case, if it's the same as, all the other states? Because if I go to, when I lived in Florida, I could walk into the Capitol. There was nothing stopping. There's no such thing as a break-in when that's a public place for the taxpayers. But the meeting itself would be a separate thing. That is illegal. They're in their county. You can't go down there during those sessions. That part I understand. But the regular open area for the citizens, that part I don't see where that would be that.
Did
And
you
tearing
hear?
up, of course, you shouldn't do that.
Did you hear about that lady that was she got shot in the head? African American man that works with Nancy Pelosi. He was, so they said that he had the authorization, but he shot her. She had no weapon. She
Talking
just
about
said
Ashley
"Bring
Babbitt.
Nancy out." Yeah, she said it, but she had nothing. He could have shot her in the leg. He could have shot her in the shoulder. That would have made her sit down, or tased her. But he shot her directly in the head. It's just one shot, one kill. Did you hear about that? She's from California, and she leaves behind her two children and a husband.
Yeah. I actually saw somebody show me a video right after it happened. Like people some guy ran out screaming, saying they just killed my friend. And he said that we could have saved her, but they would not allow them to provide her medic support, and she could have been saved. So, that probably was like my big issue was, those guys were her friends, and I don't know if they had medic experience, but they said that they could have saved her. They wouldn't let nobody provide her medic, and that was right after the incident happened. As far as like, if I wasn't, like I said, wasn't there inside. There's always different sides of a story. If I'm sitting here watching, it's like, yeah, okay, I understand, because you're not gonna come kicking in the window and not expect consequences on one hand, but at the same token, like you said, there's all these other things going on where, um, like, I'm prior military, I'm a veteran, she's a veteran as well. I wouldn't go kicking in the government window personally myself, but that's not to say anything bad about her of what is right or wrong in this situation. But we're trained to know how to shoot and how to aim. So he did do a shoot to kill shot. He could have shot someplace else, but also people who are trained in those fields. I think spoke to someone before, and they said that you don't just shoot; they're trained to shoot to kill. So that is that officer's training.
That's something that he has to live with forever. And then did you hear about the five officers that committed suicide? And I think they all committed suicide the same exact way. They shot themselves in the head.
Yeah,
I don't understand. That's a pattern. When it's one, okay, but when it's two or three or four or five, you start to get a little suspicious on things.
yeah.
Did you hear about that?
I saw it on like the documentary. They talked about it. And what I thought of it, not to say that I'm a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but like you said, I don't see how that. Well, everybody has their own breaking point, but what made them break to just commit suicide? And like you said, all the same way. And it's just too much, too many questions left unanswered, because I feel as though both the Republican Party and Democrat Party that people are in, not all of them, but there are people in both of these parties that are working together and putting together this whole thing of causing the division because they really want it to fall apart and to destroy the people, because there's no way that some of the things that I see when it comes to laws that are being written, that both parties are doing something that would harm the other group of people, and now you're telling us we have to pick between this group or that group when neither party is offering us anything.
Well said. Did you act? Were you asked to endorse President Biden or somebody in the Democrat sector, and you declined?
Yeah, they always send those emails out. I think it's the Democratic Governors Association about endorsing Biden. In fact, I think I posted it on when I saw, what is his name? The two people I'm running against, Mullet and Ferguson, both said that they endorsed Biden, and people were upset. And I said, that's ridiculous because I'm not endorsing him. You, we need the big, better people. I would rather endorse, um, I know he went over to independent, but RFK or someone. Pick a regular person. We want regular people. We are tired
Right.
of people who don't represent us, people who are so far disconnected. And the older you get more disconnected from the younger generation. What are they going to be able to relate to us in? Same thing with like having Reichardt. Him and like the Republican Party is mad about Biden, but you want Reichardt. That makes no sense.
Wow. And do you think that the endorsement part, like how do you end up endorsing the website that you told me? So you sit up there and you get an email and you either respectfully decline or you just say I'll accept. How does that work?
Um, I just delete them. I
Understood. Me
I
too.
delete them, or either like if the party asks, I just say no. I'm not going with the status quo. Pick someone better, and then we can have. Then I'll probably pick that person. But my job is, even when I'm governor, is to think of the whole of everyone, of
Mm.
every of the people, not what the party wants, because everything the party wants is not always best for everyone. And that goes for both sides, whether it's Republican or Democrat. Doing everything just party, party, party does not work for the people.
And tell me about the problem with African American women being blacklisted from government positions.
Well, because I'm going to try to do an event about body shaming. So I have all of these advices that do come from different places. But my thing is, you want to give me advice, you want to tell me things, or say that it's going to be a hard battle up for you as a black woman because of these things. Well, then help me. But don't sit here and tell me that it's a hopeless cause, is impossible, because I'll show you how possible we can make it. I get told about my boobs are too big, my I'm too curvy, so that's going to make other women, especially white women, feel intimidated or insecure about themselves and not, you know,
Who
jealous.
told you? Who told you this?
I didn't meet the person, they called me, and I know it was a black guy because he said that he used to work on Mayor Bruce Harrell's campaign. So, but I've also had another black guy call and say, "Oh, he worked on Bruce Harrell's campaign before." And don't me saying that doesn't mean that Bruce Harrell sent them, because I don't know. I think they did it on their own. But it was like, well, it's going to be a hard battle up. So you at least need $20,000 just out of your own pocket to even start off a campaign. And I just stopped him. I don't know, and I don't care what else he was about to say. So I just said, "Look, I'm gonna just tell you right now. You might as well stop right there, because our people have had a hard battle and a hard road up. So it's about time we had start having some strong hope. So if you are coming to pass a message for somebody else to tell me to drop out, you might as well stop, and let them know that tell." you, the flunky, and the rest of them, they could stop being a flunky for the party. And I said some other choice word things, but and he hung up on me. But I've also been told about um, I went to an event and my name was put out there. But when the people saw me walking and we had the event, talked, collaborated, and closer to the end, one of the ladies said, "Well, I just wanted to say that in our community, which is the upper class community, that when we see a black person, a black woman, the first we think is that you can't be governor, that you guys aren't capable of such a thing." And then we saw that you were a beautiful black woman. We just automatically thought that, oh yeah, she has no brains. But she was polite. She was not like saying it to be like digging at me. She was saying it as like advice of how people judge when I come up. So she says, better just to come out and put out all your credentials, because you have a lot of credentials and you're very smart. And we, if people only just see a beautiful black woman, then they're probably not going to vote for you because they're going to think dumb black person. And so, so that it was just, it's just like those little things that people are pointing out to me, and they are not saying them because if they would have said it in a different tone, they probably would have gotten the other that that street like, oh, really? But no, they've been just pretty much saying like, when you come to our community, you might want to wear your hair this way, dress this way. And my response so far is like, I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to code switch. You're either going to hate me or love me, but I'm going to be me. And that's the thing, is that we're tired of people being a status quo, tired of people switching up. Like if I'm out here, I'm being real and I promised you this, I'm not going over there to the next room to promise them the opposite, which means that'll put us at odds and at a clash. Because when I get there, I'm going to be real about what I'm doing and about the people I'm representing. I'm representing the people that you're putting down. I'm representing people who have had second chances. I'm representing people who have been homeless. I'm representing all of Washingtonians in some form or fashion. So if you don't like me, if you don't like how it is, guess who you're not voting for? It's not that me that you're not voting for. You're not voting for Washington.
And your husband, the reason why I bring him up is because I am a felon. I'm a felon, and I told my director of the Republican Party, and he's okay with it. He said there's plenty of people, like for Christ's sake, the mayor was caught in DC smoking crack cocaine. So he got, and he just happened to be African American. But back to the point, you help felons. You help felons get a second chance, and your husband is a felon. Do you think that that is another reason why they don't want to vote for you?
The party, I think that if I was going with the status quo of what they want and do every single thing up and down, the party lines, I don't think that that would be a problem with them. I think that would be a plus. And the reason why I say that is because my husband, he served his time, but he's also the poster child of what reform justice looks like. He's
Yes.
ran for city council. He's been in the community. He's a union worker. He's out here, doing what people probably say that a an ex felon the ex felon can't. He's doing all of those, and then heck, look, he's married to the woman who's running for governor, and that gives hope to people. So I think that would be a plus for the Democratic Party, but it's sad that they're not capitalizing on that because they have their agenda, and their agenda is not all of the Washingtonians, is exclusive of probably Eastern Washington, which is sad. We should be inclusive. And then it's sad that the Republican candidates is exclusive of Western Washington. So that's where we're having a problem of which candidate do you want? One that doesn't care about Seattle and wants to throw away Seattle, or the candidate who wants to throw away all of Eastern Washington and ignore that they have needs too.
You know, you had some Republican views, and there's some views you disagree with our President Biden about. Can you tell me about those?
Um, so my I would say my views are more conservative when it comes to budgeting.
Mhm.
And when it comes to Biden, it's a bunch of stuff that I could probably go in about. Okay, I like this about Biden. I don't like this about Biden. I like this about Trump. I don't like this about Trump. So I just pretty much stay out the presidential argument because I'm really just focused on Washington State. But in our state, if I were to say about some of the things that we have, like Inslee, I don't really care much for him. However, but nobody really knows that Inslee has started a program for housing to be able to put people who are on Section 8 in these houses to become homeowners.
Yeah.
However, I will support that program but I will take that program a little bit further because you can put them in there off of Section 8, but still are they going to really be able to afford some meet the income to match those um that that mortgage. So it would I would like to take those programs a little bit further because what we want to do is wean people off the food stamp system and when not just cold turkey because that's why a lot of people don't want to get jobs. They don't want to cut cold turkey come off and then been struggling and stuck with all of this debt and trying to catch up. But if we wean them off, give them more skills and tools that they need to be able to be the homeowner, to be able to be the homeowner who can afford everything and have good budgeting skills, I would add those things, tack those things onto the programs that he's just now implementing. So those would be like some good. The bad would be when Inslee was running, he thought that he was going to be brought into into Biden's cabinet. And Biden didn't do that. But prior to that, he started raising up taxes across the board. So my thing is, I feel like Inslee is doing all of this raising and creating things. He's created this whole thing where he made his priority to be the transportation and the going green. I'm for going green. But my issue is, are we really going green? Don't smile at me in my face and say we're going green, but over here you're putting lithium batteries and you're talking about we're going to shut down a whole grid with electricity and not even think about the consequences when the consequences are worse than what we have now. So don't say we're going green because you're packing the pockets of your friends and probably even yourself in your little shell corporations that you have going on in the background.
Do you think that in the future, way in the future, that we can possibly start to work together in a bipartisan way, seeing as though there are bigger issues that we need to worry about? And the second question is, speaking of that, I want to tell you something that happened, and I'm pretty sure you're already aware of it. Real quick, $5 million would have built the wall in Mexico. Now we're spending trillions of dollars to go to Ukraine. And I'm just confused about that. It's trillions of dollars going to a city or a country that we don't even need to help. If we can help, but not at that mass. And then there's $5 million, measly $5 million that Donald Trump asked for. And now no wall, and he's helping him, and he's not even building a wall or doing anything with the money. So what is your input on that?
My input on that is, like I said, I'm gonna always bring it back to state because presidential is kind of a little bit over my head. I haven't gotten
Yeah.
to that level yet. But from my understanding and some research that I've been doing, and I do have a retired politician on my team that I interned for, that he said that I can petition over in like places like Ukraine and what's going on in those other situation, Israel and Palestine, those different, that I could petition the countries around them in those areas around them and try to bargain with them about them being able to take in people as opposed to us just bringing in everyone and then putting them priority over our own situation that we already have going. So, and I talked to some of the immigrants, and a lot of them said that if those places, if they can get into those places, they would rather go there than to be, you know, cultural shock if coming here. And so that would be one thing, is bargaining and talking with those, because I always thought that was just a president's thing, not a governor's thing. So, and of course, I would have my team who are experienced in that area will help me formulate these discussions and work out those deals. The other thing is, I don't think that we should be a sanctuary state. Inslee just made us a sanctuary state without even asking us, do we want to do this? Are y'all ready to take on more taxes and put yourself in the hole? Because who really pays for it? Because the
Who's
people.
getting paid for them? Who's getting paid for them coming over? I just want to know. You know more than me.
Who's getting paid for them? Okay, it's like all money. We never know where the money goes. The money never makes it to the community or the people that it's supposed to be helping, and that's a problem. Like I've gone and I've hung out with the asylum Congolese asylees, the ones that's been out there in those tents and those families. How come the money is going straight over here, to Palestine and Ukraine, but our people coming from the Congo, who are really asylum seekers, whose kids are being set on fire? If you go listen to their stories of what they're running from and whatnot, when they're talking about the lithium and the lithium batteries that they want to make us go all cars and stuff, that's those Congolese people. That's their children that are being put into those mines and made to mine them and being murdered, and they're dying. So when they're coming here, guess what? We're putting them on the street. And those are true asylum seekers. So, and I'm not saying that the other two issues are not issues, but these people have traveled a long ways and are coming. And we are saying we're giving only money to them, but the Black population and is not getting anything. They're being thrown out on the streets. And to me, if you can't see that, how clear that is, then, and you say that I'm being racist, that's shame on you. Shame on you for saying that it's okay that we give Palestine and the other Palestine and Ukraine everything, and exclude the Congolese. No, if we're going to do it, spread the love all around.
If we can put trillions of dollars into Ukraine, we can put trillion. We don't even invest in ourselves no more. I was talking to a engineer, and he said we don't invest in our military. We definitely don't invest in our veterans.
And
Definitely.
we haven't even invested in emergency preparedness here. So if we have another earthquake or something, what are we gonna do? And like you said, that trillions with the people that we're taking care of from Ukraine and Palestine, and those who are coming through the border that he said, oh, we're going to be at a sanctuary state. We could have been able to help all of them out equally, but no, and our own people out. But that's the same thing. We're steady putting more millions and billions into homelessness here in this state alone. For the homeless situation, we increase the budget, but the money is not making it to the people. The money is not making it to the programs that are utilizing it. How much? Every single time they move the camps, they'll move this camp and clean it up and put it over here. That's millions of dollars. Then they're going to clean it up and put it over here for some more millions of dollars. Why are we steady shuffling them around? Which is why I say that one of my policies is open the surplus land, put them there. Now all the millions you would have been using to circulate them, they're here. Now let's start paying the programs to give them what they need, and start getting those who want to come off the street, those who want to come off drugs, those who just don't have affordable housing. All of that money could be being funneled somewhere to helping people.
I was watching an excerpt or a video from Donald Trump, and I know you're a Democrat, but listen to what he said. He said out his mouth that this has been going on for literally 100 years, with African Americans being housed in shacks and ghettos and projects. It's like a government type thing. And it's been it's been a century. What have they done? And you have good points of views. there's good Democrats and there are bad Democrats. There's good Republicans and there's bad Republicans. The good Democrats never get hurt. There was one lady, she's Democrat. She was trying to put a reverse on the weed, saying the marijuana, saying that it should be 25 years old and not 18 years old. Nobody listened to her. So I understand. What's your input?
On what Trump has said about the
Well,
shacks.
it's whatever
Yeah.
you want to talk about,
Yeah.
what I just said.
Yeah, so like you said, it is sad that people, when the argument starts coming and they start the whole racist talk, the parties like to do that. Oh, the black community, they're shooting their own, and then when they want to speak for the black community, it's like, well, 400 years ago, this and this, and we don't have reparation. Well, look, let's say that we took the whole 400 years ago. Let's go back to my mom, your parents. They lived where it was colors only fountains. So guess what they know? They was raised with somebody that they know for a fact who don't like them, who hated black people and were mad that they, they had to desegregate. And then they were with white people who said, "I'm so happy. Let me welcome you in. Let's walk together. Let's do this together." So they know who they are. So let's not make like we don't know who's racist and who's not, because our parents grew up with them and our parents are able to probably point them out. And then also we're also able to point out those who have had a change of heart, because there are people who have had changes of heart. But where we are today is when we say anything about the black community hurting, then it becomes an uproar, not just on the Republican side, Democrat side too. They both have an issue with it, because nobody don't want us to speak and to say what we're feeling and how what we're going through and how what we need help with. Don't tell us to do better when we don't know how. You don't want to provide things. So and the way I gave told one politician is that the Republican Party is saying, "Oh yes, we freed y'all, we gave y'all, we opened the door." The Democrats are over here saying, "Oh, but they may have opened the door, but you ain't got no legs to walk on through the door. So why don't we just give you free stuff and free stuff to keep you oppressed?" So that's what black people are faced with when it comes to voting. Do you, because you can't walk through the doors that they gave you, that they open up and say, "Hey, figure out how you're gonna get there, up all of these stairs and all this other stuff," and this side over here saying, "Hey, if you want to be able to eat, if you want to still have clothes on your back, food on your table, just accept oppression from us." And this side over here say, "Well, we don't care if you oppress, we open the door because at least we get to walk past you and don't help you out."
You know,
Nobody's for us.
yeah. Small businesses, I'll say this. Like you saw the January 6th insurrection. I saw when I was in when Trump was president, I was grossing almost 100,000 plus an extra 60,000 a year. As soon as they hurried up and swooped him off the stage like the Sandman from Apollo, he sat up there. I sat up there. I lost my husband because he was acting weird. I didn't know he was living a double life. I lost my job. My master franchise, found the perfect opportunity to swoop my job away. And he cheated on me and sat up there and got another girl pregnant. Now, it was something about him. He's a pedophile too. I found out too. And I went to the FBI about it. But let me tell you what's weird. My neighbor, Marty Kaiser, he was you remember that movie Enemy of the State?
Yeah.
The two people that played him, that was him in his life and what he did. He paid $5 for that movie. So I was next door to him, and then things started to happen to me. So what I want to know is the Republican that said, or the Democrat. It was a lady, you said, and it was some text messages that you sent me. And
Oh
then we
yeah.
got one more question, and then we're going to close. But tell me about what she said about African Americans, because we can be all day talking about this.
Yes. So she's running for lieutenant governor
Okay.
actually. Christina Mitchell. Yes. And I know I'm using my phone over here, so I can't even pull it up. But so a couple of things that she was saying, because we were having a discussion about the hypocrisy of everyone, like people, if the black community has a movement, then everybody jumps in, and then somebody else's group, their special interest group gets heard, and then it's like, okay, come support us, but then nobody never comes back and support the black community, vice versa. All of these different talks, and I said goes for both sides. Neither one of them ever comes back. I've talked to black Republicans, and they don't get no support from the party itself. So they're just all out there by themselves. And people think that just because you're a party, that mean that if that party ain't supporting you, then you're Uncle Tom or you're stupid. No, they're that party because of certain beliefs and values that they hold, not because of the people and the stupidity going on in either party. But so we had that discussion, and it ended up in a disagreement in a restaurant. So she carried it over into a text message, like 10 long text messages. Those are the ones that I sent you. And she started saying, if you and I go into a food stamp office, guess who's not getting, guess who's coming out with food stamps? Not me, you, the black woman with two kids and a veteran. And I'm like, in my head, that's not true, because I'm not even on food stamps. Then her other thing was small businesses. The government throws money away frivolously on small black owned businesses. We don't deserve them. That black people are murderers and drug dealers. She just had a whole bunch of things to say, and she told me that I better watch who I'm what I'm talking about on my subjects, because nobody's going to agree with me or like what I have to say, because everyone feels like, pretty much just black people were the bottom of the barrel. So
Didn't
don't
she tell you that you're white? You should act more what you like you're white instead of black or something?
and she said, don't forget. She was reminding me, talking about, don't forget that you have a white dad, to be pretty much that I shouldn't be taking up for the black community on anything. So
What a powerful story, y'all. Y'all see what we go through? I'm not prejudiced. She's not prejudiced, but this is the real deal. We both want to run for politics to help the community. And it seemed like when we do this, we get shunned. Now, mind you, like I said before, I'm okay with what's going on because I don't run until next year. And Matthew has been exceptionally good at we meet, but
yeah.
I know that some people, like what you're going through, you've had it hard since you walked through the door and started trying to run for governor. I think you can do it. I think you can do it. And I hope to God, if y'all out there and y'all stay in Seattle, that y'all will vote for Eleanor uh Kearney. Kearney.
Elona Kearney, and
I just had
anywhere in
it off
Washington,
of my head.
well,
Eleanor.
everywhere, yes,
Yeah.
all over Washington, because you're not supporting a Republican or a Democrat. You're actually supporting the people, because my campaign is about all of Washington.
Everything I asked you, if it was above your head, you said, I'm focused on Washington. And I'm glad that you said that. That it wasn't no trick questions, because I would love to talk about stuff above your head or whatever, but I just feel like, tell me, how can the people reach you? And then I'm gonna ask you another question.
Yeah. So if you go to peoplebeforeparty.com, just like I keep on saying, it's all about the people. That's my website. My social media is always, all of them are at Elona for Gov, and that's the ELONAFORGOV. And like I say, go to peoplebeforeparty.com, subscribe, donate, 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 because it's all about those donations. And being, if you look at my PDC, I'm not backed by corporations or all of these people who are trying to buy us out. If a corporation was to come I can guarantee to donate. I can guarantee it wasn't through me because I made some backhanded deal. It was because they really believed in the people. So that's how they can get in touch.
Where you see yourself going for the future with being governor? How you going to campaign this last bit of months before August? Because the voting time is in August, no May. But you, how does it work again? Sorry.
So voting is August 6th.
Good.
And then November is the general. So primaries and then generals. So getting through the primaries. May starts off the kickoff for the campaigns.
Good.
So how I'm going to do, first off, I'm getting ready to send all of these emails out to the news because there's this thing called equal time law, and I have not been equally treated, received equal treatment amongst everyone. They did the same thing to Shirley Chisholm back in the day when she was running for president, and she sued and she won, and they had to give her the same amount of time she has gave they gave all of her opponents. Now they've given all of my opponents, including the ones who have dropped out. And I've been here since May 2022, and I have not received my equal time. I have not received my visibility in newspapers. And I know I have sent out press releases here and there, but now I'm gonna go hard and send out press releases. And if I don't, then hopefully that this is the other sad thing. Sometimes the law ain't worth the piece of paper that is on, because it'll be trying to find someone who was about a civil rights attorney to represent. So if NAACP out there listening, I have not received my due time and they owe me some. So when May comes, if they start interviewing me there, they owe me that and what they have not given me so far.
Well said. You know, I had to lie because I really like the show and how it's going. Like, what kind of advice would you give an African American or even Caucasian that wants to run in government, but especially for the African American that wants to run? What is your inspirational, story for them?
Um, Remember why you're doing it. So like I'm doing it when I say I'm not running for governor, we are running. I'm representing everyone. So when I go out there, I don't think of myself as a black woman. I think of myself as what I relate to when I'm talking to that person that I'm in front of. If I'm in front of a group of Germans and Ukrainians, then guess what? I relate to them because my dad is German. If I'm in front of a group of the East Indian community, I find something relatable that I have experienced that I can relate to and be compassionate about, because that's how I collaborate and that's how I know, okay, this would help. I've been there. Single moms. So you're representing everybody. You're not like, I may be black, but I'm not just representing black America. I may be a woman, but I'm not just representing women's right. I'm representing everyone, especially having been a veteran.
Okay. Have you been I asked you this while I was in the car. I said to myself, I said, well, I know I'm kind of, I talk about it on my show so people won't, think that I'm lying. But I believe, and people may not believe me, that I'm being followed. Um, and now that you're in politics from 2022 on up, I would recommend you kind of like watch out for your children, because honestly, people do like you said that there's a governor, somebody running for governor that's trying to put a smear campaign on you. Do
Yeah.
you want to talk about that before we leave?
Um, Not the smear campaign, because I feel like what's done in the dark will come to the light. So I want to see everything come to the light with more things to prove and show for it, because it's one thing of saying, and then there's another thing of being able to have stuff to prove, because the people who have come and given me the information don't want to be put on the spot. So it makes it kind of difficult. And I
Okay.
don't want to throw nobody under the bus. But one thing that I also do is I pray.
Okay.
And the second thing is I also remember that that's what they want us to be. They want us to be afraid. They want us to do all the extra to where we can't even function or focus on our campaign and do what we're out here to do. And and one thing I always remember, like my when I would be afraid as a kid, it says, God has not given me the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And those things is that I have power. I have power over anything that anyone is trying to do to me, because I'm constantly staying out in the public. I'm constantly posting. I will talk about my dirt, your dirt, their dirt. I don't care. So with somebody try to say, oh, she committed suicide, I'm gonna tell you that that's a lie. I used to be suicidal growing up, and now I'm a forgiveness coach, and I've overcome those things and those thoughts, and I help people to heal. So that's a lie. So anything that happens to me, it will be out there. Like I said, what's done in the dark will be in the open. And guess what? People will start to get upset and frustrated, because for so long, like that whole thing that happened during the pandemic, where all the riots and things happened, and people saying, oh, we got to learn to fight better, start joining, start running for positions and whatnot. So this right here is going to be the end all tell all, that if you guys are trying to keep me from being able to get visibility, there's no equality to run, there's no equity to run, then people are going to know, then it is hopeless to vote. It is hopeless to run for anything that you lied. So tearing up stuff is better. So either you give me visibility and let us know that we have a right to have this seat, or you're going to be exposed this year. Democrat and Republicans together.
Well said, Eleanor. Okay, I'm finished. And the last thing I'm gonna end with is we're not suicidal. Take care, y'all. Be safe, and I'll see y'all later.